Hey, it's another week, another recipe, and today we are in the 1940s when, like today, wheat was expensive and just not as available as it used to be, and other grains were put to use. Come see how this pancake alternative measures up. Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Courtney Morris, and I cook history's forgotten recipes out of random cookbooks I find and sometimes websites. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, I hope you enjoyed the video enough to come join our little community we've got going. And if you're coming back for more, my utmost heartfelt thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoy this as much as I will. Alright, so this recipe comes from a very deep dive on YouTube that yours truly took at 6 a.m. this morning, waking up for some stupid reason on food shortages and the wheat shortages that are happening and the prices rising, and I'm all up in arms about it right now, which is why I found a USDA pamphlet from World War II on how to not use wheat. It's like wheat saving recipes with using alternate grains, because in World War II there was a wheat shortage in the fact that we were sending most of our wheat to our troops and to Europe. So we Americans got to make do with other things. And now relating it back to modern day, I might not have wheat to do anything with, or a very small amount of it that I'm gonna have to combine with other things. This might not be new to you, but this one's new to me. Corn flour griddle cakes, and I'm talking corn flour in the American sense. Corn flour in the UK is the equivalent of cornstarch here in the US, so don't get that mixed up. So we're gonna do corn flour griddle cakes, or pancakes as we call them now, because I'm hungry and my kids were gonna need breakfast at some point. So here they are side by side. This is cornmeal, corn flour, corn starch. This is also corn flour in the UK. We're talking American, so this is corn starch. So cornmeal feels like sand. This is kind of a finer grain. I just got this one pre-packaged rather than in the bulk section at my grocery store. You can get them more granular, but it feels like sand in my hand. This is what you make cornbread with. This is corn flour, which feels like flour. It's just a finely milled cornmeal. So to make this out of this, if you can't find any actual corn flour, put this in a blender. It'll turn into corn flour. And this is what we're going to be using for our pancakes today. This is cornstarch. This has cornstarch in it. This has cornstarch in it. This is the extracted starch from the corn. This is the stuff that you play with, and you can put it in water and it makes a really fun kid's toy. But it also is the thickener that comes out that you use in gravies and sauces. So just in case you needed to know. All right, so I've got all my ingredients ready to go, and this is going to be pretty close to your standard basic American style pancake recipe. The only difference is we are using corn flour and not white flour. So it does say mix in the order given, beat yolk and white of egg separately and fold in the whites last. So I'm guessing that's because corn flour might be a little heavier than white flour, and you're gonna want a little more lift so you don't end up with just like, hockey pucks. Scant 2 cups of flour. Scant meaning just under 2 cups, which it kind of is. Okay, so next 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of melted fat. Now, I'm pretending that I have a butter ration because it just tastes good. You can use lard or oil or whatever fat you had. Bacon drippings, actually the bacon might taste good because you're pairing it with maple, that might be a good something. I'm gonna go with 2 eggs and put our yolks in separate, and a teaspoon of salt. Now, one thing about adding baking powder to a recipe is that once it gets wet, it starts to activate. So if you leave a pancake batter, something like this, sat for too long, the carbon dioxide bubbles that it creates are gonna pop. And eventually, you're not gonna get a good rise. So don't let your pancake batter sit for too long. Now it does say with the egg white, it says fold in the whites last. And if you're folding in egg whites, that usually means you have now made a type of meringue where it is stiff peaks. So stand by. Okay, we are at stiff peaks now. It's not going anywhere. And now we're gonna gently fold this in. And if you have watched any of my channel in the past that has involved egg whites, you will know that you fold these in gently because this is all, it bubbles. It's all bubbles, that's all it is. And if you stir them in really fast, you're just gonna lose everything you just worked your little arm off for. One thing I do want to show you before I add in these egg whites is what the batter looks like. It does not look like normal pancake batter. Everything falls to the bottom. So I have a feeling when we are going to be pouring this onto our griddle, we're gonna have to be doing some stirring a little bit. All right, so I'm going to gently fold these in. And folding doesn't mean stirring. Folding is basically taking your spatula and going down and turning it. You're folding it over itself. Okay, so I have got my pan hot, and this is gonna be interesting because all the corn flour settled to the bottom, so you kind of gotta stir it gently so everything's mixed. And then we're just gonna try this out. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna do a 1/4 cup. It's not round and it is runny, like it's not thick. So if you're expecting round, you're not gonna get it because it's not thick enough. It's not thick enough to hold that shape. And if you don't wanna get it too hot to where it'll hold its shape, but it'll just burn. Okay, so it is puffing up around the edges just like a normal pancake, a normal wheat pancake would. However, it is really thin. It's almost like half a pancake, half a crepe. Okay, well, it's thin. It is thin out, thin, hot. All right, this batch is done and they smell good and they look all right. Well, I figured out the trick to making them round. You have to make them the size of the pan. Otherwise, you end up with these. Cornmeal isn't as soluble as wheat, we know that, but trying to make a pancake where the solids go to the bottom of your measuring cup and the liquids go to the top and then trying to pour it out, it all stays in the center and then just whoops out, and then you get little interesting shaped things. I saved that one for a thumbnail because it actually looks the best. But we'll try one of these. I am guessing that it's going to taste like cornbread, and look how thin they are. It's like a crepe. So let's try it with some syrup. So, not good. Let's try it without syrup. Corn flavors there, like a cornbread, but it's not that grainy, dense kind of cornbread texture. It's very light and fluffy, and I actually think I like these better than pancakes. Unpopular opinion over here, but these are light. They're surprisingly light and very tasty. You can try it with a little bit of jam, or plum butter in this case. You do jam, but I don't have any. That's good too. I like it all. Obviously, this is not new, and I'm sure that celiacs across the world already know about this stuff, but I am just learning about these, and I am super happy with this. This one's going in my recipe book because, you know, if I can't get wheat, perhaps I can get corn flour or corn meal and make flour, and now I've got something that is somewhat normal for breakfast. And that's one huge thing in any economic hardship, wartime, natural disaster. If you can bring back a normalcy for people, especially kids, you're gonna have a whole lot easier time getting through whatever it is. And if that means eating corn flour pancakes, I can do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I really am really happy about this, and considering that we might not be able to get the amounts of white flour that we used to, you know, perhaps this will help you in your endeavor to feed your family as, you know, stuff hits the fan. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you try it. I really do. This is fantastic. So if you enjoyed this video, please join our community. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification that'll let you know when I upload every Monday with a new historical experiment that are mostly, well, it's half and half. Some are really good and some are just terrible, but they're so much fun either way. If you liked the video, give it a little like. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please leave me a recipe or just say hi. If you need something else to watch after this, I would recommend the deep fried French toast video. That is another superb breakfast or lunch or dinner or midnight snack. Anyways, I hope to see you next Monday. Have a great week. Bye.